الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Inshallah, we continue with the Tafseer of Surah Al-Baqarah, and let me just go to share the screen first. And now we can see, alhamdulillah. So Surah Al-Baqarah, as we know, that is part of the first group of surahs that we have been mentioning in this table, group 1. But the central theme here is the Sharia, the path, the way, the guidance of Allah on how to live this life in order to be successful in the hereafter. And we have mentioned that Surah Al-Fatiha is the beginning of the Qur'an. It is a dua for guidance, and the whole Qur'an is Allah's response and Allah's guidance to this dua. And then when we look at Surah Al-Baqarah in a bit more detail, we can break it down into these 5 elements: Iman, Islam, the vision and mission of the Ummah, which is to convey the message, and then Infaq, which is to exhaust all resources in pursuit of this vision and mission, and Jihad is the struggle against those agents who want to stop this mission and vision from being realized. So we have reached now the second half of this surah, and as you remember, inshallah, the first half of the surah was talking to the believers initially, but it then went to address the Bani Israel, the previous Ummah, and there was a long discourse with Bani Israel from Ayat 40 to 140 approximately, and as hopefully we can see then. So this was just over 100 ayat inviting Bani Israel to believe in the final Sharia, and the fact that Allah has removed them and given the leadership to now the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And now it is their responsibility to fulfill their mission by submitting to the message, udkhulu fi silmi kaffa, and then conveying the message. So I mentioned it many times, and inshallah, let's make sure we are aware of it again. Surah Al-Baqarah, now we will find Allah, He will elaborate on Iman, like we looked at last time. Iman is to love Allah the most, one aspect of it. And then we looked at some aspects of Islam in the Hajj, the Safa and Marwa, and we will look at some other aspects of it today. Vision we've already looked at, but also we have looked at Infaq in terms of the Jihad and Qital, and Jihad as well. So these things will now come one after the other. You will find them intermingled. So inshallah, just with that quick recap and introduction, let's go to Surah Al-Baqarah. And we had looked at the tafsir of the ayat up to and including 167, which was essentially talking about people who follow their leaders without them being guided, and they would regret this in the hereafter. Now Allah Ta'ala, He's addressing the whole of mankind. So we will look from 168. Inshallah, we aim to go up to 176, yes. 168 to 176. So let's just recite the ayat first. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الناس كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين إنما يأمركم بالسوء والفحشاء. You should get the Qur'an if you can't see. وأن تقولوا على الله ما لا تعلمون. وإذا قيل لهم اتبعوا ما أنزل الله قالوا من نتبع ما ألفينا عليه آباءنا أولو كان آباؤهم لا يعقلون شيئا ولا يهتدون. ومثل الذين كفروا كمثل الذي ينعق بما لا يسمع إلا دعاء ونداء صم بكم عمي فهم لا يعقلون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كلوا من طيبات ما رزقناكم واشكروا لله إن كنتم إياه تعبدون. إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل به لغير الله فمن اضطر غير باغ ولا عاد فلا إثم عليه إن الله غفور رحيم. إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الكتاب ويشترون به ثمنا قليلا أولئك ما يأكلون في بطونهم إلا النار ولا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى والعذاب بالمغفرة فما أصبرهم على النار ذلك بأن الله نزل الكتاب بالحق وإن الذين اختلفوا في الكتاب لفي شقاق بعيد. So we can hopefully realize in this section there is mention of halal and haram here. So this is, if we were to just very quickly think about which aspect of which one of these four areas this is covering, this is talking about Islam, yeah? Halal and haram. Halal and haram. And it is also talking about the people who, especially Iblis, Shaitan. So this is regarding Shaitan, this is jihad, yeah? Iblis. And then people who hide the book, they are also people who you have to make jihad with. They hide the truth. So hopefully we see how these things fit together, inshallah. So, Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind. So Allah Ta'ala, He is generally speaking to the whole of humanity to say, Kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba. Eat from whatever is on earth that is lawful and good for you. Halal and tayyib. Halal and tayyib. Halal means that which has been, because hal means to open something which is restricted to you. Yeah. So halal, that which has been made open for you to have. So there's no prohibition. There's no restriction there. Halal. Tayyiban. So halal is that which is lawful to you in terms of the Sharia, which has been made lawful for you. Yes? Allah has made it lawful for you. Tayyib can mean that which is good for your physical, mental, yes, being. So you can sort of, not exactly, yes, so you don't need to get too pedantic, but sort of seems like halal is spiritually correct, tayyib is physically correct. Wallahu alam, yeah, roughly, yani. Just to get an idea. So halal and tayyiban also means that which is good for your mind, for your body, for you. So for example, khamr is not tayyib because it mixes with your mind. Allah Ta'ala is saying, have that which is halal and tayyib on the earth, And the principle is in our Sharia, because this is the Sharia of ease, that everything on the earth is halal unless it has been stated to be haram. Yes? So the general principle is everything is halal unless it has been stated to be haram. And in the same coin, because this is talking to mankind, so this definitely includes at that time the Jews and the Christians and the mushrikeen. They had made many things halal which were not halal. They had made halal haram and haram halal. And this has been then elaborated in Surah Al-Ma'idah and in Surah Al-An'am, etc. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ, and be wary that you do not follow into the footsteps, so you do not follow the footsteps of shaitan, because he will lead you astray. He will make haram halal for you, he will make halal haram for you. Yes, because one aspect is he will take you down the extremism route of being extremely religious in your view. You will think, I'm really religious, so you will make even what is halal, you will make haram upon yourself. This is wrong. And the other extreme is that he will make even that which is haram halal upon you. So he will try to basically take you off the right path. He will take you right or left. So don't follow his directions, his way. إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ, because indeed he is a very clear, plain enemy who has declared his enmity against you right in the beginning of this surah. So be aware of him, especially when it comes to halal and haram. It is Allah Ta'ala's prerogative only. It is his haqq, istihqaq, that he says what is halal and what is haram. And he has given this authority also to his messenger, alayhi salatu wassalam. But essentially it is Allah Ta'ala's right. And nobody can share that right to say, no, I can also say what is halal, haram. No. Because this is also condemning the scholars and the A'imma of the Bani Israel who made halal haram, haram halal, like they have made, for example, interest was haram for them. They have made it initially, interest was, riba was haram in even their scripture and in their religion for the Jews, but then they slowly changed everything to say, okay, it is only lawful if we charge people who are not from our race, yeah? So they said it's okay to charge them interest. And then they built the whole economy on interest. And similarly with the Christians, they made swine, pig and alcohol halal, although it was haram. Yeah, because this is essentially following Iblis, shaitan. Allah Ta'ala is telling us shaitan's actual motive and his vision and mission is innama ya'murukum. He only commands you to. Your innama here is very meaningful. Innama is kalimat of hasr, which specifies the fact that this is his only real aim. What is his aim? To order you to bisu wal fahsha'i wa an taqulu ala Allahi ma la ta'lamun. Three things that shaitan, his overall strategy is it has three strands. He will order you, persuade you, guide you, misguide you to su. Su is that which is naturally you dislike to see it. Evil, yeah? Because in our nature, Allah has put the recognition of ma'ruf and munkar. Ma'ruf is something you like instinctively as a human. Munkar is something you repel instinctively as a human. So su is evil that you do not like to see. He likes you to do that. And then wal fahsha, so bigger sin now, bigger as you see, the sin will become greater. Yeah, su is just evil. Wal-fahsha is now you are going beyond your own self. You are going to now interact with other people, especially zina, through obscenity and illegal relationship. This is fahsha. This will now start to penetrate society and damage society. Yes. So he has the individual target, then he has the multiple targets, social target, and then وَأَن تَقُولُوا عَلَى اللَّهِ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, and then he will say to you that you should now speak about Allah without knowing what Allah wants. So you will say, no, this is right or this is wrong, without knowing what Allah has said. Therefore, you now become the legislators. You become the government of the people, by the people, for the people, who decide whatever they want, yes, rather than what Allah wants. So this is his game plan. So these people who are being told this, Allah Ta'ala is saying in the next ayah, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ اتَّبِعُوا مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ, when it is said to them, you should follow that which Allah has revealed rather than what shaitan he is guiding you to. So this is their classic response, the mushrikeen and the munafiqeen, the mushrikeen and the Ahlul Kitab, people of the book. What did they say? Qalu, they replied, Bal, no, we will not follow what you are saying, but in fact, instead, مَتَّبِعُوا مَا عَلْفَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ أَبَاءَنَا, we follow that which we found our forefathers upon. Yes, if they said this is halal, we said it is halal. If they said it is haram, we said it is haram. If they said this is good, we say it's good. If they say it's bad, we say it's bad. We just follow our tradition and our heritage. Yes, you see these nice words. We are upholding our tradition. So we wear the poppy, red poppy. Yeah. Allah Ta'ala is saying, they say, we follow our forefathers, we are proud of our heritage. And then Allah Ta'ala, he is criticizing them by saying, أَوَلَوْ كَانَ آبَاؤُهُمْ لَا يَعْقِلُونَ شَيْئًا وَلَا يَهْتَدُونَ. And you still want to follow them, even though your forefathers, it is possible, because they were also humans, that they did not understand this matter in the right light, and also they were not guided by the guidance of Allah. They were following shaitan and their own desires and people before them. So essentially, Qur'an is saying you have to be objective and you have to find out through the facts what is right and wrong, and then follow that, and not blindly follow your forefathers. Yeah. Now some people, they take this ayah and they would exaggerate this from this ayah, the concept of taqleed, following a madhab, for example. Yes, so what we should understand in general and in principle is that we obey Allah and His Messenger, wa ulil amri minkum, and those who Allah Ta'ala and His Messenger has put in position of authority, as long as the position of authority and the person in the position of authority does not contradict Allah and His Messenger. So therefore, if Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, or Imam Malik rahimahullah, or Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, or Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah, they have done their research as they did, that was their endeavor, may Allah be pleased with all of them, and they did their istinbat, which is to extract the rulings from the Qur'an and the Hadith. Then to follow their opinion is there is nothing wrong with it. to follow the opinion of a person of knowledge, because the person of knowledge is not claiming to be the source of this knowledge, but he is just essentially translating, understanding, and giving you the message of Allah and His Messenger. So there's nothing wrong with following that person or that scholar or that imam, as long as you don't exclusively think he is the only guided person. This is where it becomes wrong. Yes? So you don't follow the person, you follow the evidence of the person. So all of the A'immah, they have said, because they understood Islam better than us, alhamdulillah, Allah bless them. They said, if you find what I have said, if you find anything against it in the Qur'an or in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, then you should not listen to what we have said. So this was their whole methodology, was to obey Allah and His Messenger. But we as a people, we have made the mistake of thinking that we are associated to, or we have allegiance to a particular scholar. This is not correct. So we shouldn't call ourselves behind any scholar, that I am this or I am that follower. No. Yes, we shouldn't just say we are followers of this person. No, we take that Imam's opinion, and for the majority of us, the whole majority of people, that we have to follow an Imam or a scholar, because how are we going to know what is the hukam on something? How? If we haven't studied, then of course we are dependent on the people of knowledge. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. But we are not saying this is the only opinion, this is the opinion. No, we're not saying that. If a person has the ability to himself or herself do the istinbat, then that's different. But that's very, that's a rare thing, isn't it? That person, then he himself or she herself is a scholar. So we have to have the right approach about this, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Moving on. About these disbelievers, Allah Ta'ala is mentioning that do not recognize and don't listen to the message. وَمَثَلُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. The people of rejection, they have rejected the message. There is an example of them. كَمَثَلِ الَّذِي يَنْئِقُ. Is just like the example is of a shepherd, as if a shepherd, when he calls out, shouts out to his flock. الَّذِي يَنْئِقُ بِمَا لَا يَسْمَعُ إِلَّا دُعَاءً وَنِدَاءً. The flock, they do not listen, meaning they don't understand him. But what they can relate to is just the fact that he is calling and he's crying out. Yes, they recognize there is a sound. You can close these windows. They recognize that a sound is being made, but they cannot understand if the farmer is saying come back. They don't know what come back is. If the farmer is saying stop, they don't know what stop means. If the farmer or the herdsman is saying carry on, they don't know. But they know that some sound is made, yeah? So Allah Ta'ala, He's equating these people to that type of faculty, that they have the ability to hear, but they don't hear. Summun, they are deaf. Bukmun, they are dumb. They don't speak the truth. Umyun, they don't see the truth. Fahum la yaqilun. So they do not understand. And this, we mentioned, this is talking about not the physical abilities of sight and hearing. Yes, this is the ability of the heart. The heart has not been able to, they have not allowed their heart to listen and respond and see the truth because of their kibr, prejudice and pride. So then Allah, He carries on to tell us, the believers in Medina, Ya alladhina amanu, now He's saying to the believers, O you who believe. Now, alladhina is a harf of nida, is to call. Meaning this is important. Allah Ta'ala is calling us to attention. He's saying, be attentive. O believers, listen. Kulu, eat. Min tayyibat, from all the pure, good, lawful things. Ma razaqnakum, that we have provided for you. Alhamdulillah, except for just a few things. Yes. So we should be grateful. Washkuru lillah. Thank Allah, He has made life so easy for us. You know, many of the other religions, they made life so difficult. If you look for the Jewish criteria of halal, for them kosher is very stringent, very difficult. You'll be surprised, so difficult. And then if you become Jain, they don't eat anything that may cause damage to any creature. You see, this is another extreme. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, Kulu, eat from all the pure things Allah has given. Everything is pure except that which Allah has made haram, which is, the list is coming. The list is very small. The rest of the things are halal. So, washkuru lillah, be grateful to Allah. Grateful means eat what He has given. Don't be ungrateful by not eating what He has given. And don't be ungrateful by making halal haram, haram halal. Do what He has said. In kuntum iyyahu ta'budun. If it is actually He who you claim to be worshipping, so then do what He has said. Kulu, eat. Kulu washrabu. Eat and drink. Wala tusrifu. But do not exceed the limits. And this has been the command given even to the messengers. Ya ayyuhar rusul. Kulu min tayyibat, in the Qur'an. And even the messengers were told, eat the pure, clean, halal. And then, as I mentioned, this is part of the Islam, the ahkam that Allah has given the believers in the backdrop of the fact that the people of the book and the mushrikeen, they had introduced so many fabrications in halal and haram. So the people of Quraysh, they had said, oh, we will make this animal dedicated to the idols, for example. Nobody can touch it or eat it. Or in Surah Al-An'am, you will find, and in other surahs, that they have designated this animal only can be eaten by the males and not by the female. This is all iftara, these are all lies and fabrication against Allah. Legislation which has got no basis in Allah's Sharia. So in this backdrop, Allah Ta'ala, He is now making it very clear what is haram, what is halal, so that there is no issue. Innama, Allah Ta'ala is saying, indeed, only those things harrama alaykum have been made upon you haram. Al-maytata, number one category, the things that are dead. The animal that is dead is haram. Yes, but there is an exception to this. The exception is the animals of the sea are halal, because they are dead fish. The fish, when you catch the fish, it dies, isn't it? You don't slaughter the fish, do you? It's mayta, it's dead. It's halal. And the locust, it is, you find they come, the locusts, they attack the fields, and if they die in big numbers, you just can eat them, no problem. It's halal. But other than that, everything else dead. If a sheep, and in the Surah Al-Ma'idah, I think Allah mentions that if the animal dies from, for example, a bash on the head or a fall, or from injury causes the animal to die, and then this would be haram, mayta. And also there was a practice of the people Quraysh that the animal would be alive, but they would cut off a part of the animal's body and they would eat it, cook it. So the camel's fat, they would cut off the fat while the animal is alive. Yeah, and the animal may not even feel that it's been cut. This is haram as well. Yes, because this is maita. And then the second category, what dama, and the blood. But the blood which is haram is dam masfu. What is the word? Flowing blood. What is it called? Masfuha. No, mafsu. I can't remember now. Khair. So the flowing blood is haram. Yeah. Exceptions to that are the blood which is congealed, which is what's the word for congealed? Other word, clotted blood. So the kidney or the liver of the animal, liver. You know liver? Yeah. You have to show you what liver is. You don't know what liver is? Liver is the organ in the sheep or the cow or the chicken, if you like. Yes, which you can eat. It is congealed blood. It is blood clotted blood. It is basically, yeah, but it is halal. And similarly, the spleen, because it is congealed, it is not flowing. So the flowing blood is haram. Okay, and the other thing is that we should realize, sometimes you buy the meat and there's some blood on it. There's no big issue with that. Yeah? You buy the meat, then the people, they would put the meat through the washing machine. I think some people, they're completely free from blood. This is another problem. Yes, just wash it under the tap. That's it. You don't need to go crazy. So the flowing blood is the problem. And so that's the second thing, dam. وَلَحْمَ الْخِنْزِيرِ, and the flesh of the khinzir, the pig. So these three, and then the fourth, وَمَا أُهِلَّ بِهِ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ, and that which has been dedicated to other than Allah. So the people, they slaughter it for this person or this idol, in the name of this person, in the name of this idol. Yes, or they slaughter it ala nusub, on the altars for worship, the altars where they slaughter for worshipping of other than Allah, or any other type of slaughter which is done other than Allah, without saying Bismillah Wallahu Akbar, then it is not for Allah. So halal meat and haram meat, chemically you may argue they're the same. What's the problem? If the person, for example, as an example, person, he does the slaughtering as Sharia says, cuts the neck with the sharp blade, but doesn't say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. This is haram. This is not slaughtered for Allah. But he did the same, mechanically is the same, yeah? But it is not the same because it has not been done for the sake of Allah. So it has to be done for the sake of Allah. Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alameen. So this is the right of Allah that you eat. You see, this is very important to understand, because we are becoming over-rational. Yes, and then we become irrational. Washkuru lillah. Washkuru lillah means be grateful for what Allah has given you. So when you are going to slaughter the animal, Allah has given you the animal. Your belief is Allah is the creator of this animal. He has given you the means to have this animal, to slaughter the animal and to consume the animal. So therefore you do it in the name of Allah. That Allah, He is the provider and He has made this halal for me, and I will eat it because Allah has said eat it. This is halal. There's a world of a difference between this and the other thing without saying it is for Allah. So these are the haram things that have been mentioned explicitly. فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ غَيْرَ بَاغٍ وَلَا عَادٍ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. But then at the same time, Allah Ta'ala, He is so merciful to us, full of mercy to His creatures, and especially to the believers, the Ummah, that He is saying that you may come under circumstances where you have a dire need. A dire need means if you don't eat, you could die. Yes? Because you know the Sharia, the maqasid of the Sharia, the objectives behind the Sharia is to maximize the benefits and remove the harm. Yes, for humanity. This is the objective of Sharia. And the Sharia, it is there to protect the religion, number one, deen, to protect life. You should write this down. The objective of the Sharia, maqasid of the Sharia, is to protect the deen, protect life, protect the lineage, protect the aql, intellect. And there's one more, I can't remember. What did we say? We said life, deen, life, lineage, intellect. One more. Anyway, one of the brothers and sisters can remind me after we finish today in the session, in the question answers. So Allah Ta'ala is saying, if you come to a stage where you would die if you don't eat, and property, very good, and to protect your property, very good. This is Sharia, maqasid of Sharia. Then you have, there is no ithm upon you, no sin. You are not going to be held accountable if you eat haram, if you eat something haram. But as long as the two conditions apply, غَيْرَ بَاغٍ, غَيْرَ بَاغٍ. Baghin means that you do not go over, in that you do not do it to enjoy it. You do it because you have to eat, otherwise you will die. Yes? So you don't go now making the best dish out of something that is necessary for you to be alive with. You eat it, yes, as soon as, and as in whatever form is edible, you eat it. Wala ad, and not in transgressing the limits, meaning you will only eat that much which is necessary to remain alive. Yeah? So you can, hopefully you appreciate the spirit behind it is, this is a real necessity. It's a life or death situation. Allah Ta'ala does not like us to kill ourselves because we think that we are going to eat haram. No, Allah Ta'ala says, no, that haram for that moment is halal for you. Eat it, otherwise you will die. So your life is important. Yeah? But only what you need and as much as you need only, that's it, no more than that. It's not for enjoyment and it's not for fulfilling yourself, it's just to survive. So this is a very important methodology in our deen, that the necessity, it attracts ease. Necessity attracts ease. Alhamdulillah, we should thank Allah for that. Inna Allah Ghafur Rahim, indeed Allah, He is all forgiving and all merciful. Yes, He knows that you are in need. This is His mercy. He will not call you to account. And then the discussion and the mention continues of the people of the book, especially the Bani Israel, ulama of Bani Israel, and the others. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَكْتُمُونَ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. Those indeed people who hide what Allah has revealed in His book. Yes, from in their books about the coming of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and in their books about halal and haram, they have hidden it from them, the people. Why? وَيَشْتُرُونَ بِهِ ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا. They want to exchange this for a small price, meaning the dunya. Yes, ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا, very small benefit. They may benefit for 50 years, 60 years, because they will have authority, people will listen to them, they will have power, they may have money. So Allah Ta'ala, He condemns this in the Qur'an, especially those ulama who do not speak up against haram. Allah Ta'ala is saying here severely for those people who hide the truth that is in their books about Allah and His Messenger and their halal and haram. أُولَٰئِكَ مَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ إِلَّا النَّارِ. These people, they are not but filling their stomachs with fire, because they have samanan qalila, they are benefiting, yes, some worldly benefit. So they are benefiting and they're consuming through that. Whatever they're enjoying, they are preparing the fire inside them. And this has been mentioned a few times. For example, for the wealth of the orphan to be taken unlawfully, it is tantamount to this, filling the belly with fire, meaning you are preparing yourself for fire. Na'udhu billah. وَلَا يُكَلِّمُهُمُ اللَّهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. And the other punishment that they will face is that Allah, He would not even speak to them. Yes, He would not speak to these people, He would not address these people when they would be in desperate need of Allah Ta'ala's mercy and attention. And وَلَا يُزَكِّيهِمْ, and they would not be purified, they would not attain the tazkiyah, because the Jannah is for the nafs, which is zaki. Yes, the nafs that is pure. And now we in our life, we are trying all the time until the last breath to keep our soul and our nafs and our qalb clean, pure, salim, and trying to do tazkiyah. But as we know, as human beings, we can never fulfill the complete tazkiyah, we cannot reach it. So therefore, on the Day of Judgment and in the hereafter, Allah Ta'ala mentioned that the believers would say to Allah, Atmim lana noorana. Oh Allah, complete our noor for us. And then Allah Ta'ala, He would purify the believers, give them the tazkiyah required to enter Jannah, and the sinning, the fasiq, the fajr, disobedient, sinning Muslim believer would be purified. Na'udhu billahi min zalik, we seek Allah's protection against this, by being burnt into the hellfire, in the hellfire, to give the person the purity required to enter Jannah. But these people would not be given this because they did this crime of hiding the truth. وَلَهُمْ أَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, and then for them is a very painful punishment. We ask Allah Ta'ala's refuge against this. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. These people, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ اشْتَرُوا الضَّلَالَةَ بِالْهُدَى, they have not just exchanged Allah Ta'ala's book and His commands for the dunya, they have in fact, the reality of their exchange is they have chosen misguidance over the guidance that Allah gave them. and they have chosen وَلَا عَذَابَ بِالْمَغْفِرَةِ, instead of being the recipients of Allah's mercy and forgiveness, they have invited and made themselves worthy of Allah Ta'ala's adhab. فَمَا أَصْبَرَهُمْ عَلَى النَّارِ. So Allah Ta'ala, He's now saying, look how patient they are regarding the fire. Meaning, see how determined they are to remain in the hellfire by remaining to disobey Allah. You see? But they will not be able to have the sabr. Brother, somebody is talking. Can we mute, please, brothers, sisters? I don't know who it is. Jazakallah khairan. So this is ridiculing them as well, to say that, oh, you think you will be able to stand the fire, huh? You are getting ready for it, and you are persisting. Allah Ta'ala is saying to them, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ نَزَّلَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ. This, they will deserve it. Yes, the fact that they would be in the hellfire, this is because Allah, He sent the haqq, the truth, which had proof. وَإِنَّ الَّذِينَ اخْتَلَفُوا فِي الْكِتَابِ لَفِي شِقَاقٍ بَعِيدٍ. And despite the fact that the haqq had been sent, clearly given, the people who still differed, the reason is lafi, indeed they are in shiqaq, shiqaqin ba'id, they are in this, shiqaq is a great enmity and opposition and hatred. Yes, so this is a ba'id, extreme in its nature. So they are far from the truth and they're far from the haqq. So they have earned this. Yeah, let me check the time. I think it's time for Maghrib. So inshallah we'll stop there for now.